Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to the 2025 USA Powerlifting Odyssey Barbell Summer Open. My name is Liz Bernier. I'll be hosting the live stream today, so, hopefully you guys are able to get a chance to grab some snacks, grab some beverages, and get comfortable for this afternoon session of lifting here at Odyssey Barbell Club in Salem, New Hampshire. Sunny Salem, New Hampshire today. Great weather for a meet. Great environment for a meet here, as you guys can see. The meet director, Mr. Eric Lapointe himself, went all out setting up this very exciting platform aesthetic for all of our lifters here today. We'll be getting started momentarily with the squat portion of the event. If you guys haven't watched a powerlifting meet before and you want to know, okay, great, the first event squat, what's after that? We're squatting, benching, and deadlifting today. That's all we do as powerlifters. It's very exciting stuff. You'll see a lot of people squatting, and then you'll see a lot of people benching, a lot of people deadlifting. The actual, real story is we've got each lifter will have 3 attempts to make the heaviest squat that they can for the day. We have 2 flights of lifting today, Flight A and Flight B. So all the lifters in Flight A will take their first attempts, then they'll take second attempts, and they'll take third attempts. And we've got Robertson Velez here going for his first attempt squat at 140 kilos or 308 pounds. And as we get these first attempts rolling, I'll go through some of the rules and, what does it mean to be a good squat? What does it mean to be a bad squat? What are some of these lifters training all year round to do to make sure when they get on the platform their squats count? Because we do have some rules. So Robertson, very quick first attempt squat. You probably noticed, though, that he waited a little bit while at the start of the squat and then waited a little bit while when he was done with the squat. That's because the squat event has 2 commands that the chief referee, who's sitting right next to the camera that we have pointed at our platform today, the chief referee will give a squat command. That will be the lifter will wait for that squat command before they squat. There's some conditions that the lifter has to meet in order to get that squat command. First off, their knees have to be locked. They have to be standing upright, and they have to be pretty much motionless, ready to start the squat. So you see here, Kieran waits for that squat command, gets it from that chief referee, then squats all the way down to the bottom position, stands back up, waits again until he gets that rack command from the chief referee. As you can imagine, the rack command is given when the lifter is also completely motionless at the top of the squat. Basically, we're looking for them to look exactly the same at the end of the squat as they do at the beginning of the squat. So that looked like a good lift for Kieran. As I mentioned, we have a chief referee. That chief referee sitting in the center next to the camera position. We also have 2 side referees, one on the left and one on the right. So down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, next to the meet logo, you'll see 3 circles. Each one of those circles represents a referee that's on the platform. When they give white lights, that means it's a good lift. When they give red lights, that means it's not a good lift from their position. But there are 3 referees on the platform. Unfortunately, a little bit of a balance issue there for Amato. So you'll see some of those red lights I was talking about show up there on the screen. Not a good lift for him on that one. But he can try again on his second attempt to just control the bar a little bit more. Looks like a good squat for Alex. Left-hand referee saw an infraction there. So that was 2 white lights, 1 red. All you need for a good lift is 2 white lights. That's why we have 3 referees on the platform, so that we can have that majority, vote. Because as people from different angles, we may see different things that other people don't see. So we have 3 referees that can view the lift from 3 different angles and adjudicate the majority rules who thinks that the lift was good or bad. So Andrew's walking out 175 kilograms here, 385 pounds. Makes light work of that. For those of you guys following from home watching Andrew lift, you'll know his first attempts always look super easy. And that's actually strategic. He does that on purpose. We want all of our lifters to make their attempts, at least their first attempts, because if they don't post a successful attempt, at least one successful attempt in the squat, in the bench, and in the deadlift, then they're not able to post a total. And we don't want that. Here comes Jake, looking to put his first squat on the board, 180 kilos. Jake training at Lift Free or Die Barbell Club in Dover, New Hampshire. That's where I train. That's how I know. It looks like a good opener for Jake there. See what the referees say, and they agree. So you guys might be wondering, why does it matter posting a total? What does that mean? So posting a total is kind of, the lingo for saying what's your biggest squat, your biggest bench, and your biggest deadlift that you hit on the platform. Add those three things together, that's your total. And kind of the point of powerlifting is just like progressively over time, lifting as much as you can. Lifting more than you did last time, that's the idea, that's the goal. And if you're not able to post a successful squat, bench, or deadlift, and you cannot post a total, then all of the lifts that you hit on the platform for the day don't count officially towards like meet personal records. Here comes Albie, 190 kilos. Up and down pretty easy. And like we said, we want to make sure that those attempts, those first attempts are easy so that we know that we get on the board. We know that we get one successful attempt so that we don't have to worry about our meet PRs not counting, right? So that's why you'll see all these first squats generally really easy. That's generally the meta these days. It's not to take your maximum attempt, the most weight you could possibly do on your first attempt and try that 3 times, because the likelihood of you being successful is lower if you put your maximum weight on the bar for your first attempt. Like some people would think maybe you want to get 3 shots at it, but what if you aren't able to do it the first time and then you're too gassed out to do it a second or a third try? So that's why we like to say, pick something that you could do for 2 or 3 reps pretty easily for your first attempt squat and put that on the bar. And that's most all the lifters here so far have demonstrated pretty similar weights for their respective strengths. That would be something they could do for 2 or 3 reps. So, yeah, good to see a smart attempt selection from everybody so far. Here comes Jordan, 200 kilos for his opener. Looking good. Not very many infractions so far in the squat, and I find it's easier to explain them as we go along. So as we get some infractions here, I'll explain what those were, what the ref saw. Luckily for you guys, I am also a referee. I'm a national referee for USA Powerlifting. So, I should be able to explain 90% at least of the calls that the referees are making on the platform. However, I'm not on the platform, so sometimes they see stuff that I won't see, and I always defer to them. They have the best view. Here comes Cam, Mr. Bubble Bath King himself. Also trains at a Lift Free or Die Barbell Club in New Hampshire. This is his second meet. Going in with 451 pounds and change for his opening attempt squat for the High Tide Strength Club lifter. Up and down with very, very controlled. Pretty happy with that, he is. Really excited to see where he goes from there. He was the second to last lifter in Flight A for the squat, so we have one more lifter taking their opening attempt. Their very first squat of the day, one more lifter doing that. And that will be Liam. $220 kilograms for Liam on the bar. You see he's adjusting his belt on the platform, getting ready, following his normal routine. That's one thing you will see. All these different lifters have different routines that get them in the headspace, get them in the zone, get them locked in to take these really heavy weights. 485 pounds on your back as a junior lifter here for Liam. Certainly nothing to shake a stick at, that's for sure. Good job, Liam. Looked good to me. We'll see if the refs agree. And they do. 3 white lights for Liam. Now we're back to the top of the lifting order with Amato taking 157.5 kilograms. You may be wondering, why are we using kilograms? We are in New Hampshire, one of the best states in these United States. Why are we using kilograms and not pounds? That's because USA Powerlifting is an international federation. We have an international arm called the IDFPA, or International Drug-Free Powerlifting Association. And we want to make sure we use units that are consistent with all the rest of the countries in the world that are part of IDFPA. So that's why we have kilograms here, but you'll also see pounds in parentheses next to the kilogram measurement, just to give you a little perspective of how much weight's on the bar. 157 kilos for Amato. Stands up with it, a little bit crooked in the hole. We'll see what the refs say. They say it's good, 3 white lights. One thing I would be worried about, moving into a third attempt is because his hips were a little bit crooked in the hole, sometimes it can make one hip look higher than the other. Why that matters is because you do have to squat to a certain depth. And we would hate to see him miss a lift due to not squatting deep enough. So we'll keep an eye on Amato there, but he got 3 white lights on that one, so at least he's got one good squat on the board there to go towards his total. Robertson taking the same weight for his second attempt. Gets the squat command from the chief referee. No question on depth from my viewing perspective there. Looks like he followed all the commands. We'll see what the refs have to say, but yep, they agree. Good lift for him. Kieran coming up next. 160 kilos on the bar, 2.5 kilos more than the previous lifter. You guys might be wondering, well, is there a rhyme or reason to the order that lifters are putting, they're putting their attempts on the platform? So at the top of the flight, we have the lightest weight on the bar, and as the flight progresses, we add weight to the bar. We never remove weight from the bar until we get back to the top of the flight order. Bit of a push there for Kieran on his second attempt. A little bit slower than most people like to have their second attempts, but maybe there was a slight misgroove, or maybe he's really trying to push for a PR in the third. We'll see what he puts in for his third attempt there. Alex Flint coming up next. The 175, big jump up to 175 from his 165 kilo opener. About 22 pounds or 10 kilos. Big jump for some, probably a normal jump for him. As a teen lifter, pretty exciting to see almost 400 pounds on the bar. You have to wonder if maybe he's pacing for 400 today. That would be 182.5 kilos is the closest 400-pound equivalent. But not to get too far ahead of ourselves. Alex, unracking the 175 kilograms, getting the squat command, going down to depth. A little slow on the way up, but seems like he made it work. And then you'll see the right-hand referee there gave him a red card for depth. So that's a good example of where if your hips are a little bit uneven going down, you run the risk of one side being a little bit high and one side being a little low and getting a depth call there from one side or the other. But 2-1 was a good lift. 2 white lights is all you need there. Coming up next, we have Andrew, who sometimes trains at Odyssey Barbell with myself and Cam and Jake, taking 187.5 kilos for a spin for his second attempt. No question on depth there for Andrew, that's for sure. Definitely a speedy lifter, definitely one of those ballistic squatters that seems like everything's moving really fast until all of a sudden the brakes come on. We'll see what he puts in for his third attempt, although knowing him, it'll probably look just as easy. Up next, we have Jake, back-to-back lift or die lifters here. 190 kilograms on the bar. Almost 419 pounds. While we watch Jake squat here, look good to me. I'm overhearing from the warm-up room that Andrew Marshall's last squat was a New Hampshire state record. So good for him on that one. Up next we have Albee. This afternoon is going to be all men, in case you guys haven't noticed that, where all the men lifters from 90 kilograms and up will be lifting in this session. If you had friends or family lifting in a lighter weight men's weight class, 82.5 kilos or lighter, or women lifting in any weight class, they lifted this morning, and you'll be able to find their live stream uploaded to YouTube. Should already be up, but sometimes it takes a little while to load. And once you're done watching this, you can go watch them. Here comes Albie, 197.5 kilos, getting settled, getting his knees locked out, waiting for that start command, gets it. Comes down to depth, slows down a little bit on the way up, but doesn't look like it was that much of an issue for him. 3 white lights, the judges agree. Up next, we got Michael Lee. Trains at Top Strength in Rhode Island. Bars loaded for Michael. Let's see him take 207 kilos, which is 10 kilos above what the previous lifter took. 12.5 kilo jump from his first attempt, so that's a pretty big jump. Almost 30-pound jump there. But for some lifters, that's what they're used to. Is, when they're training and they're working up to a top single, 30-pound jumps are pretty normal for them when their last warm-up or second to last warm-up. Looked pretty easy to me. And the judges say it's a good lift. Up next, Jordan. Lifting in the men's raw junior division, 90-kilogram weight class. You may be wondering, what's this with divisions? What's junior? What's teen? What are all the options for lifting? We have lots of different options for lifting depending on your age. So the open division is anywhere from age 24 to 39. The junior division, as says on the screen, is 20 to 23. We have 4 teen divisions, 18 to 19, 16 to 17, 14 to 15 below. You can see Cam's lifting in the 18 to 19 division. We also have 4 masters divisions, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and 70 plus. 70 plus? 70 to 79? 80 plus? Something like that. If you're a teen lifter, if you're a junior lifter, you could opt to lift in the open division as well. It's not restricted just to people who are 24 to 39, but unfortunately those of us in that 24 to 39 group, we can only compete in the open. Here comes Cam now. High Tide Strength. Coached by Mr. Eric Andrews. Expecting excellent attempt selection today from Eric. Expecting this to move really well as well. Having watched Cam's training over the past couple months, yeah, that looks just about how it should. 480 pounds on the bar, 3 white lights. He's happy with that. Hopefully that goes toward the A plan. The plan A for attempt selection today. Hopefully that's going for a PR. Liam looking to take 230 kilograms. I always find it so interesting to see how every lifter, does their little pre-lift routine. What are the things that they do to get their head into the game? It looks like Liam is, for the most part, pretty calm and collected. Takes a second to, corral all his thoughts before he loads 500 pounds on his back. It moves it with relative ease, I will have to say. 3 white lights, it's a good lift for Liam. And we're back to the top of Flight A already. Going for third attempt squats already. How the time flies. And not very many infractions so far. Not to jinx anyone, not to apply the commentator's curse here, but everyone's doing a really good job lifting, and we really like to see that. As referees, we do not enjoy throwing out color cards or infraction cards. We do not enjoy giving people red lights, and We really enjoy when people lift to the standard and when they follow the rules, and everybody's doing a really good job of that so far. Here comes Kieran, 165 kilograms on the bar. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much for him today. You could see on the way down, he definitely slowed down a little bit more than he's used to, probably because, it's a protection mechanism. Our brains do it automatically when the weight's that heavy. Unfortunately, a little too much for him on the day. But he will take his second attempt squat of 160 kilograms towards his total today. Amato up next. 167.5 kilograms on the bar. A 10 kilo jump from his second attempt, which probably didn't move as cleanly as he wanted it to. Lifting with no knee sleeves, no knee wraps, very raw. Able to stand up with it. And the judges say it is 3 white lights, so he's probably happy with that. He's probably glad he made that 10 kilo jump, able to recoup some of the lost kilos from his missed first attempt there. He'll take 167.5 kilograms from his third squat, going to his total. Up next, we have Robert Velez. He trains here at Odyssey Barbell Club. Shout out Odyssey Barbell Club in sunny Salem, New Hampshire. Always an excellent venue for powerlifting meets, especially in the New Hampshire Seacoast area, northern Massachusetts, southern Maine area. The meet director and gym staff, they just, they love to keep the sport of powerlifting alive and well in the Seacoast of New Hampshire here, and you can see from the lifters on the platform that very popular venue. Looks like a good squat for Robertson there. And 3 white lights, the judges agree. Up next, Alex Flint. Also trains here at Odyssey. 16 years old. Looking to break that elusive 400-pound squat. 182.5 kilos. The crowd's getting hyped for him, as I suspect they would. This is a big milestone squat for a lot of people. This is like that 4-plate squat that you do in like a commercial gym with your 45-pound plates. Can he stand up with it? He can. A little war cry at the top there for emphasis. Racks the weight. Unfortunately, the 2 side referees are saying, red card with a red light. He did not squat deep enough. So what is the measurement of depth for, just so you guys are, as you continue to watch, you can kind of get a sense for it. The hip crease, where your leg meets your torso, the crease of the hip, has to go below the top of the knee joint. So if that hip crease, as viewed from the side or the front, does not go below the top of the knee joint, it unfortunately is not a good squat. And unfortunately from the side, where it's very easy to see depth, those referees didn't feel he squatted deep enough. Here comes Andrew, 200 kilos. Easy. As I suspected, as I predicted. Moves very well. I'm sure his coach Angela will be happy with that. Good lift for Andrew there. Bar goes up to 202.5 kilograms for Jake. Back-to-back LFOD lifters here. Definitely a little slow going into the hole, but snappy on the way up. I think that's a good squat, and the refs agree. Good job, 3 white lights for Jake. Up next, we have Albie coming all the way up from Coliseum Barbell Club in Webster, Massachusetts. Great gym for those of you guys who are, maybe not in the Salem area, but in the western central Massachusetts area, or even, within spitting distance for the Boston area as well. I'll be looking to take 205 kilograms for his third attempt squat, which is a 7.5 kilo jump, about 15 pounds from his last attempt. Taking his time to get a really good brace in there. That's very important. So he can have an efficient transfer of force from his feet through his torso to the bar and up. looked good to me as far as efficiency goes. And as far as the standards are concerned, the refs agree that was a good squat. So great job, Albie. 205 going in the record books for you, for your own records, at least. Jordan coming up next. 217.5 kilos for our raw junior lifter. He's rocking the meat t-shirt today underneath his Inzer singlet. Definitely, unfortunately hit a wall just a little bit beyond his capability today. If there was just 2.5 kilos less on the bar, he might have been able to stand up with that, but that's okay. 210 kilos was his second attempt squat, his best on the day. He'll take that to his total going into the bench event, which will happen after our Flight B of squats, which will be coming up very shortly. We're the last 3 lifters of Flight A right now, with Michael kicking off that last 3. 220 kilos on the bar for Michael. Decked out in all black here. Stands up with it. We'll see what the refs have to say. 3 white lights from the referees. We love to see that. He's excited too. He's excited to see that too. That must be a good lift for him. Must be what he was looking for better. So good for him. Up next, Cam. Fresh from the bubble bath to the platform. 225 kilograms on the bar. As close as you can get to 500 pounds without going over. He's smiling, getting ready. Now, Cam's one of those lifters who he's just always so happy and always just so excited to see everybody and dare I say, bubbly for the Bubble Bath King. But it's all business now. We're getting serious now. Getting settled. Get the squat command. Very deep on that squat. A little bit of a sticking point on the way up, but oh, he's got it. He's excited. We'll see what the refs have to say. Okay, 2-1, a good lift. The right-hand referee gave a blue card with a red light. What I'm imagining is he might have seen a little bit of up and down during that sticking point. So you can't, when you stand up with the squat, you have to stand up in one smooth movement. You can't let the bar dip back down once it started going up. Alternatively, maybe he thought that his knees weren't locked at the start or the completion of the lift. That would also be a reason for a blue card with a red light. Up next, last squatter of Flight A, Liam. 240 kilograms on the bar, almost 530 pounds. The whole crowd goes silent, giving him his moment of peace. And grinds out through a little bit of a sticking point, but it wasn't too bad for him. 240 kilograms in the bar for 3 white lights. It's a good lift by Liam. We're not done squatting yet, folks. We still have all of Flight B. First up, Terrence. 172 kilograms on the bar for Terrence, who trains at Waverly Oaks. He's 61 years old. He's in this list here, the Raw Master 40-plus division, but he is actually technically an M3A lifter, with his age being 61 years old. Unracks 380 pounds. Walks it out, takes a few steps, gets very clear of that rack. Seems to have almost no problem standing up with it. See what the refs have to say. Unfortunately, 2-1 no lift. The chief referee gave a blue card with a red light. The side on the right gave a red light with a red card. So it looks like the or the referee on the right thought he didn't squat deep enough, and the referee in the middle, what I presume was seen was that his knees weren't sufficiently locked out at the start or at the completion of the lift. So hopefully he tries to retake that for his second attempt. And hopefully he's able to hit that to competition standard for a second. Here comes Nicholas. Also trains from Top Strength Project in Rhode Island. Few big steps back to make sure he's clear of the rack. Gets the start command. No question on depth there. Walks it back in, 3 white lights from all 3 referees. Good lift for Nick. So we didn't get very many infractions in our first flight here. Hopefully we don't get very many infractions in our second flight here as well. I'll go ahead and talk through some of the other infraction cards, some of the other reasons why we might get a red light from a referee. So we talked about depth. We talked about your knees need to be locked at the start and at the end of the lift. You also need to be standing up straight, just like Ruben's here's was. 3 white lights for Rubens. You also, like we mentioned, once you start standing up with the squat, you can't go back down. There's only one way to go, and it's up. If you do go back down, even if it's just a little bit of a wobble, just a little bit of a dip, unfortunately that lift will not count. If you've seen like Olympic weightlifters, or you see CrossFit folks squatting, sometimes they bounce in the bottom of a squat, and it helps give them a little bit of momentum to come back up out of the squat. Unfortunately in powerlifting that's not allowed, so that would be another reason for a blue card with a red light. Here comes Nicholas, 187.5 kilos for his opening squat. So that covers our red cards, that covers our blue cards. Looks like a good lift for Nicholas, and the refs agree. Then we also have yellow cards, and yellow cards for all 3 lifts are kind of like the miscellaneous card, where all other infractions fall under. One reason you might get a yellow card is if you don't listen to the referee's commands, right? For squat, that's the squat and the rack command. Another reason you might get a yellow card would be, let's say you get settled and you're still and you're ready to get that squat command, you get the squat command, and then you move your foot after the squat command. That would be a reason for a yellow card. The same thing, if you're standing up on your way back up from the squat and you have to take a step because you lose your balance, that would be a yellow card. That's kind of categorized under change in elected lifting position. That would be a reason for a yellow card. Oh, wow. Very fast squat by Dimitri there. Wow. Blink and you miss it. 207.5 kilos for his first attempt squat for the teen lifter, 15 years old. Excited to see where he goes from there. And where you've got a little bit too much weight on your back, you try to stand up, you can't get it, and so you kind of bail and you dump the bar behind you. That's not allowed in a meet. That's very unsafe for our spotters who are here to help you catch the weight if you fail. So that would be a reason not only for a yellow card, but if you do it intentionally, a reason for being ejected from the meet. So hopefully we don't see any lifters do that here today. Dan walking out 212.5 kilos. Looked good to me. Right-hand side referee said maybe not quite deep enough. And I could see where they could see that from the angle that we're sitting at. We're obviously not sitting at the same angle as that side referee, but I can see where they're coming from with that. Not that they need my validation. They're the one in the chair, and I'm on the live stream yapping. Here comes Albert Lee. Trains at Crunch Fitness. Good for him. Nothing wrong with training at a place that has all the equipment you need. It doesn't need to be a powerlifting gym, and that's the beauty of the sport, is you don't really need a lot of equipment to be able to do this sport. You don't need to train at the fanciest powerlifting gym with the most top-notch equipment. All that is nice, and again, a plug for Odyssey, a plug for Coliseum, a plug for Lift for Your Die. These are powerlifting gyms in the area that all have really great equipment. But you could train at pretty much any place that has a barbell and weights, and that's one of the fun things that makes this sport so accessible, is that you do not need much. Coming up next, we have Elvin. He trains here at Odyssey Barbell Club. His coaching is from Neanderthal Strength, Stephen Oatman. I won't say his Instagram handle on here. I'll get in trouble for that. Elvin looking to take 220 kilograms for his opening attempt. Quick on rack. Controlled descent though. Wow. Really like how that looked. And 3 white lights was a good lift for him. Julian up next. 235 kilograms on the bar. 17 years old with a 518 pounds on the bar for an opener. We are in the 100 kilo class, ladies and gentlemen. No question about that. Unracks the bar with authority there. Very easily takes the squat down to the bottom position and back. Happy with that opener. 235 is good for him. Up next, Matthew with the same weight on the bar as a junior lifter. We'll see how these two pace against each other throughout the remainder of the competition. And that was a good lift for Matthew, and we are back to the top of Flight B with Terrence, 172.5 kilograms on the bar for Terrence. Let's go, Terrence. Let's get those knees locked at the start. Let's squat down to where the hip crease is below the top of the knee joint. He's probably been doing this for a long time. He knows what he needs to do. He also probably knows how to min-max, just how deep he needs to get it in order to get white lights, just how much he needs to lock his knees. That looks much better from a depth perspective, and it looked like he almost got a little bit more spring out of the hole because of it. 3 white lights. No questions there about the quality of that lift. Looked really good to me, and I hope he's happy with that one. Moving much better than his opener. Nicholas up next. In the 82.5 weight class here. Trains out of Top Strength Project in Rhode Island, self-coached, which can sometimes be fun. I've spent about 9 months of my powerlifting career self-coaching, and it can be fun. Although it is helpful to have those coaches in your corner to be, your second set of eyes. Sometimes you just know yourself well enough and you have all the right knowledge that you don't always need a coach. Sometimes you're just doing it for fun, even. So let's see how this 180 kilograms goes for Nicholas. Pretty deep there. A little slow in the middle portion of the lift, but stands up with it. 3 white lights, good enough. It doesn't have to be the most aesthetically pleasing lift in order to get 3 white lights here. That's kind of part of the fun part about powerlifting too. There's no, beauty standard that these lifts needs to meet. They just need to meet these technical criteria to maintain, fair competition among everyone. But, if you've got really long legs and a short torso and you need to squat, and your friend has really short legs and a long torso, they're leveraged very differently for the squat event than you are, and this sport doesn't care, and we all get to squat. We all have to squat. Ruben's coming up here, taking his second attempt squat, 200 kilograms. But we get to all adapt based on, our anatomy to the rule book, and that means everybody's squat looks different from everybody else's, and you can kind of just do it how you need to do it in order to efficiently move the weight. Up next, we've got Nick. Trains at White Wolf Fitness. 200 kilos on the bar for him. For those of you guys just joining in, welcome to the USA Powerlifting Odyssey Barbell Club Summer Open in Salem, New Hampshire at Odyssey Barbell Club. My name's Liz, and hopefully you are enjoying or will enjoy my commentary for the stream this afternoon, where we have 90 kilogram men, 100 kilogram men, 110 kilogram men, and beyond. I don't know if we have anybody in the 120 or 120 plus weight classes here today, but they would be lifting today if we did. I'll be talking through the squats. We're more than halfway through squats at this point. On to second attempts for Flight B. We have about half the flight left, and then we'll go on to third attempts for Flight B squats. After that, we'll have a 10-minute break. So we're about, I'll say, 15 minutes away from a 10-minute break. Hopefully you guys can wait that long to grab snack refills, refreshments, more water, stay hydrated. And hopefully so far what you've been watching here has been entertaining. 217.5 kilos on the bar for Dimitri here, our 15-year-old 110 kilo lifter. Didn't look very hard for him. One red light from the side for what looks like probably his knees weren't totally locked out at the beginning or the end of the lift. That's probably what that blue card was for. Again, I am not sitting in the chair, so while I am a national referee, these are educated guesses that I'm making since I'm not sitting where that referee is sitting. 220 kilograms on the bar there for Dan. Training here at Odyssey Barbell Club and coached by Brendan Parr. 220 kilograms on the bar. Very controlled down into the hole. He's got a little bit of a wider stance. We'll see what the referees think about depth there, and they think it was good. I think so too. Sometimes with those wider stances, it can be a little bit more challenging to see depth from various angles. And it's kind of, goes back to everybody has different leverages, so everybody has to squat differently. And as a lifter, you need to know, like, if my stance is wider, is it going to look high from certain angles? If my stance is really narrow, is it going to look high from different angles? And it's up to you to adapt to make sure that you're squatting to the standards and squatting undeniably to meeting the standards. Elvin up next, and so far I will say, all of the lifters in this afternoon session have been doing a very good job meeting the criteria for good squats. So we do love to see that. Doing a very good job of making sure that their training has been setting them up for success. Elvin, 225.5 kilos on the bar. 27.5. Looks pretty good to me. 3 white lights for him. Albert Lee up next. 3 more squats until we go back to the top of the order. 3 more squats until third attempts. 3 more squats until we get to see some grinds, some excitement, some roaring of the crowd. But first, 227.5 kilos for Albert. Gets the squat command. Gets set. No question on depth there for me. Gets the rack command, and the refs agree. 3 white lights. It's a good lift for him. Up next, Julian, 17 years old, squatting 250 kilograms for his second attempt. We saw some insane teen lifting this morning in the morning session for the lighter weight men, 82.5 and below. We are seeing some insane squatting by the teen lifters tonight in this afternoon session. This is just the beginning of it. We're only on second attempt squats, ladies and gentlemen. So don't step away yet. Don't refill your drinks yet. 250 kilograms on the bar for Julian. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. He went up 15 kilos from his first to his second, and if they don't go up another 15 kilos, I don't know what they're doing. They need... That was so easy. We love to see that. Up next, we've got Matthew. 252.5 kilos on the bar. Looks like a little bit of a competition, a friendly rivalry here between Matthew and Julian, perhaps. Perhaps we'll see how that goes, but 252 is going now for Matthew. Gets the squat command. Looks good to me for depth. Looks good to me for, lockout, things like that. The refs agree. 3 white lights for Matthew. So far, Julian, Matthew, kind of head-to-head-ish right now. Only 2.5 kilos separates them on the squat event. For total forecast so far, so it'll be all the successful squats they've done so far, plus their opener for bench, plus their opener for deadlift. Only 20 kilos separates them on the day, so very excited to see these 200-kilo lifters duke it out. In the meantime, Terrence. Third attempt squat for Terrence. A little bit of a bumpy start for his first attempt, but was able to recover by retaking his first on his second. Went up 10 kilos to 182.5 kilograms for his third attempt squat. He's got the face like he knows he's gonna make this move well. He's channeling a little bit of that anger. Depth looked good to me. Wow, sprang right out of the hole there. Looked very good. Great job, Terrence. Great third attempt. Great way to come back from a little bit of a bumpy start. Up next, Nicholas. Bar is being loaded for Nicholas, 185 kilograms, 407 pounds. Crowd's getting loud for Nicholas here. Traveled all the way up from an island to be here today. Squat command is given for Nicholas. 185 kilograms going down and up. Up. Nice work by Nicholas. 3 white lights for him. That's a good lift. 185 kilograms going towards his total. Up next, our other Nicholas, Nick from White Wolf Fitness. Our 110 kilogram Nick. Looking to take 207 kilograms and change for his third. All right, Nick, here goes 207. Let's see if he'll come out to take it. So you'll see a little bit of a delay here. The lifters have 60 seconds. After the chief referee says the bar is ready for them, they say the bar is loaded. They have 60 seconds from that bar is loaded statement to get on the platform, unrack the bar, and get the squat command. So plenty of time to do whatever it is you need to do off the platform before you get over and attack your weights here. 207 kilograms on the bar for Nicholas. Big brace, quick descent. A little slow on the way up, but he was able to fight through a little bit of that. For 3 white lights at a good lift. 207.5 keys going towards his total. Bar goes up to 215 kilograms, or just under 475 pounds. For Rubens. Let's go, Rubens. Let's go. Coach Joel's watching for you, looking to see if you can make this attempt. Come on. Waits for that squat command, gets it controlled into the hole. Controlled on the way up. We love to see it. Let's see the ref say it's a good lift. 3 white lights. Great job, Rubens. 215 kilograms going towards your total. Meanwhile, we're getting the platform ready for Dimitri for his third attempt squat. 500 pounds for Dimitri, our 15-year-old 110-kilo lifter here. Being coached by Dan, who is lifting right after him. That must be an exciting moment to be back-to-back with your coach in a powerlifting meet. I bet there's going to be a fun story for that later. 227.5 kilograms for Dimitri in the meantime. Gets settled there, waiting for that command. Big brace. Very quick descent. Oh, a little too excited on the way up, but 2 to 1 is all you need. We are a family-friendly event, so just pretend you can't read lips. But a good lift for him. 2.5 kilos added to the bar for Dan here. 507 pounds for Dan from Odyssey Barbell Club. Let's get it, Dan. Show Dimitri who's in charge. 2.5 kilos more. Shouldn't be too hard for you. Let's see what we can do. Come on. Yeah, the smile. He knew there was no doubt. The referees, unfortunately not quite deep enough for Dan there. The strength was there, no doubt, but the depth was unfortunately not. Up next, 5 kilograms added to the bar for Albert. 235 kilograms or 518 pounds on the bar for him. Slow, controlled unrack. There's no requirement for your speed for your unrack here, so might as well do it comfortably. No question on depth for Albert. Let's see, did he did follow all of the other rules of the squat. Great lift for him there. Up next, Elvin. Let's see if his third attempt squat will look as good as his first and his second did. Both of which looked very good. Very nice squats. Good squatting by Elvin here today. Good pick from the rack for Elvin there. Big brace. Controlled into the hole. Nice. And like a piston stands up. 3 white lights for Elvin there. Great work. 237 kilos is good for him there. Up next, Julian. 260 kilos. Informally battling it out here with Matthew as our next lifter. They're registered in different divisions, so they're not directly competing head-to-head, but I can only imagine, as someone who's been on the platform and been lifting with people in my weight class, like, you see what other people are lifting and you just want to do a little bit better. So let's see if Julian makes this. Wow. Okay, so they only went up 10 kilos. And remember, I said they should go up at least 15. And I think that was definitely the right call. With 15 still would have moved easy. 10 kilos, 22 pounds, 15 kilos. It's a little over 30 pounds. I think with lifters this strong, you can't you can't argue with the strength there. You kind of just have to go with it on the day. And sometimes you don't even know that there's that much there. There's definitely more for Julian there. But maybe going into the deadlift, he wanted to save some gas, so we'll see. Matthew doing just a little bit more than Julian just did, 262.5 kilograms on the bar for Matthew. Let's see if he can move it as well. Getting set. Controlled descent. Oh, a little bit of a scrap there, but stood up with it and got 3 white lights from the referees, so he's doing well. So, like I said, we had 2 flights of lifting today. We just completed all of our squats for the day. We're going to be going into a 10-minute break while we get the platform. Less than 1 minute left before we kick off the beginning of the bench press event for this afternoon's lifting session. For those of you guys who were here earlier for the squats, welcome back. For those of you guys who are just joining, hello, welcome to the 2025 USA Powerlifting Odyssey Barbell Summer Open here at Odyssey Barbell Club in sunny Salem, New Hampshire. This afternoon's session, you'll see men lifters, only men this afternoon, for 90 kilogram weight classes and above, for the 90, 100, 110, 120, 120 plus weight classes. You'll see lifters in the teen division, the junior division, the open division, and the masters divisions, all looking to see if they can do better than they've done before for the bench press. We're starting off with Alex. We have 95 kilograms loaded up on the bar. We're getting ready to get this platform kicked off here. Bars loaded for Alex as called by the chief referee. So for those of you guys who were following along earlier, we've got 3 referees here on the platform. One who's sitting right next to the live stream camera. You can see them kind of in the left-hand part of the screen here. We've got 1 referee on the right-hand side and 1 referee on the left-hand side. And between the 3 referees that are on the platform, they're able to accurately view the lift from enough angles to determine whether the lift was good or bad. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on in the bench press. It doesn't look like it. It looks like the lifter's just laying down and pressing. And, Alex made it look like there was nothing going on at all. 95 kilograms, a good lift for him. But there actually are quite a few things that referees have to look for when adjudicating a bench press. And we'll start with the commands. So, unlike squat, where there are 2 commands, the bench press has 3 commands. And that's because there is a required pause in the middle of the lift, whereas the squat, there is no required pause in the middle of the lift. So the first command for the bench press is the start command. The lifter will get that start command when they've unracked the bar and then they've become motionless with their elbows locked, their shoulders, their butt on the bench, and their feet flat on the floor. So he got the start command there, Robert did. And very quickly got the press command and the rack command shortly thereafter. So the second command, as you could have guessed, is the press command. That's when the bar gets motionless down to the lifter's chest. They'll get a press command. The faster you're able to make the bar motionless, the faster press command you'll get. You'll see throughout the course of lifting this afternoon or this evening that different styles of benching naturally gravitate towards different speeds of making that bar motionless on your chest. But personally, for me, the cheat code is make the bar motionless super fast. And then you don't have to wait as long on your chest, especially when there's hundreds of pounds in the bar. Kieran, 110 kilograms, good first attempt for him. So once you get that press command, you have to press the bar straight up in one motion. You can stop on the way up if you get stuck, but you can't go back down. So press the bar up in one fluid motion to the top, where you will then remain motionless the same way you started your lift, and that's when you'll get your rack command. So start, press, and rack, the 3 commands that you'll see the chief referee giving today for the bench press. Liam, about to see those commands for his first attempt himself. 120 kilograms on the bar, and you'll see this the center spotter with the black t-shirt. His name's Rawson on the back of his shirt. So he's helping the lifter unrack the bar, which is allowed. We have somebody on the platform designated to help with doing that. You don't get to bring your own handler to be able to do that for you, unfortunately. Everybody gets handoffs from the same person. And that's just to help for some lifters. It takes a lot of energy to unrack the bar, believe it or not. And some lifters prefer to conserve that energy and use it towards their press and not towards just unracking the bar. Some lifters elect to unrack the bar themselves. There's pros and cons to both ways. I personally am team self-lift-off because in training, I can guarantee consistency with my self-lift-off. I don't have to worry about the variable of another person. I don't have to worry about having to explain how to lift the bar out to another person, especially in a loud, noisy environment like, meets can be. Michael, 122.5 kgs, pressing off the chest. Looks good to me. And the refs agree. I prefer to do self-lift-offs, but some athletes, they are okay and can handle a little bit of the variability that comes with getting a lift-off from a stranger. And they prefer that because the risks are far outweighed by the pros of being able to save all of that energy. So different strokes for different folks. Up next we have Andrew looking to take 125 kilograms for his opening attempt. We talked about how Andrew lifts at Lift for Your Die Barbell Club in Dover, New Hampshire. It's not an official plug, but that's where I lift as well. So I've seen Andrew lift multiple times at multiple meets. And one thing I know is that Andrew is good at benching, and I feel like he's got a lot more. He's got a lot more that he can put on the platform today. So I really hope he takes advantage of how his training's been going and really tries to push for PRs. His lifts, even his max attempts, like always look so easy. So at least for the bench press, I'm looking to see a little bit of a struggle. I hope he remembers to struggle. 3 white lights from the referees, a little bit of a delay there, but it's a good lift for Andrew. Coming up next, another fellow Lift for Your Die lifter, Cam, Mr. Bubble Bath King himself. We'll see if the 5 bubble baths in the last 24 hours are paying off. They paid off in the squats. They started out a little rocky. I was talking with Cam in the warm-up room. A little bit of trouble with his unracks, but seemed to not affect the quality of his actual squat whatsoever, and I'm hoping that translates over to the bench as well. 281 pounds on the bar. I won't spoil what we're looking for here because I don't want to jinx it, but I think we're good for it today. 281 pounds moves with ease for Cam. 3 white lights for his first attempt. I went into the warm-up room to get a comment from some of our athletes during the break, and his coach says, "No comment. We are going to take what we can get. We have some confidence in our lifter here, but we just got to see it through." Albee up next. Coliseum barbell lifter here, Albee. 281 pounds on the bar, same weight as Cam. Looking for his first attempt. $127 kilos goes down for Albee and up smoothly as well. We'll see what the referees have to say. Okay, so they said 3 white lights. Up next we have Jake, another Lift for Your Die lifter. This is the flight of Lift for Your Die lifters. That's what I'll say. 140 kilograms on the bar. Whoa, we went right over 300. Just breezed past 303, right to 308. 140 kilograms on the bar for Jake. I think he's looking to break a state record today. I'm not sure for his weight class and for his age division. I'm not sure exactly what the state record is, but watching some of his training and looking to see, like some of the presses that he's had in the last few weeks leading up to the meet, he's capable of it. So interested to see if he's able to today. But first, let's get an opening bench on the board. Very easy press by Jake. And 3 white lights, the refs agree. So for those of you guys who weren't following earlier in the stream, what does it mean to get a good lift on the board? What is the board? Why do we have 3 attempts? Blah, 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 right? Many questions. I have many answers. So to give everybody an opportunity to put up the most weight they possibly can in each discipline, the squat, the bench, and the deadlift, we give every lifter 3 attempts. And the meta strategy and the most suggested strategy these days is take something you can do for 2 or 3 reps with ease for your first attempt. That's to feel out the reffing. That's to, if you're nervous, if you're a nervous, anxious lifter, you want to kind of get out some of your anxiety on a weight that's not super heavy. You're not going to gas yourself out trying to move the weight. And it's really to get you, quote unquote, on the board. If you do not post a successful squat, a successful bench, and a successful deadlift, at least one of each, you cannot post a total in a full power meet. That means all of the other lifts that you've made on the platform won't count. Amato, 152.5 kilograms. Good lift for him from my perspective. In my little corner. I'm not even near the platform. 2 white lights is all you need there. He got 1 red light, and we'll talk about some of the infractions for bench later on here. As we're already back up to the top of the flight order, with 100 kilos, the elusive 220 pounds for Alex. This is kind of a big milestone for kilogram lifters. His, like I said, 220-ish pounds. Looks like everybody was able to make a successful bench press for their openers, for flight A at least. Now we'll go on to second attempts, where the lifters will be able to put a little bit more weight on the bar to see if they can add more weight to their best bench of the day. And then they'll do the same thing for thirds. And hopefully, if they make all 3 attempts, then their third attempt will be the best lift that they did for the day. Wow, that moved really fast. Good lift by Alex, I think, and the refs agree. So part of the, part of the strategy of attempt selection is, like we said, we talked about what do you pick for your first. It should be something that you can easily do. Your second attempt, and then what is that? It should be something between that really easy attempt that you could do in any circumstance and what you think might be your top end for the day. So it kind of is like an in-between, like a warm-up for your last heavy lift of the day. And so that's why you see a lot of these second attempts moving pretty well. Not to jinx it for Kieran, I don't think he's going to get that one. It looks like he just had a little bit of an issue when he brought the bar down to his chest and he wasn't quite able to recover from that misgroove there. Hopefully he retakes that for his third attempt and is able to get it. Meanwhile, we are loading the bar for Robert. 115 kilos. 253 pounds. And we'll see if this second attempt sets him up well for a possible third attempt. He went up 10 kilos from his first attempt to his second attempt, which is about 22 pounds. So I'm imagining his third attempt is going to be somewhere 5 to 10 kilos from where we're at here. And that's kind of how you play it. Wow, I'm going to say 10 kilos from where we're at here. And you sometimes you don't know until you see how it moves. But that's how, most lifters take a bigger jump from first to second than from second to third. So we'll see what he puts in for his third attempt. But I think probably close to a 10 kilo jump would be appropriate, maybe 7.5, we'll see. Up next, Michael. From Top Strength in Rhode Island. He's got 127.5 kilograms on the bar for his second attempt bench press. We didn't even talk about some of the other rules for the bench, like why would you fail a bench press? We've had one lifter fail a bench press so far in this session, and that was kind of due to strength, as we saw. But there's other reasons that you could fail a bench press. That's why we have 3 referees sitting here adjudicating the quality of the lifts. So if you start your bench and your elbows aren't locked out properly, at the start or at the end, that would be a reason for failure. You would get a blue card for that. If you didn't listen to the ref's commands, like you just heard the chief referee giving the start, press, and rack commands, if you don't listen to those commands, that would be a reason for a yellow card. If you don't bring the bar all the way down to your chest, if you hover it above your chest, or if you touch it down on if you wear a belt for bench, if you touch it down on your belt, that would be a reason for a failure. That would be a red card. We don't see those very often, but we do sometimes see them. If after you get the press command, you press it up, you get stuck and the bar dips down just a little bit because it's near max weights, then that would be unfortunately not a good lift because you had downward motion, and that would get you a blue card. And then we've got a lot of other random infractions, right? Like if your feet don't stay flat on the floor, if you move your feet during the lift, if your butt comes up off the bench during the lift, lots of different things. They're all kind of qualified as change an elected starting position. Those would get you a yellow card for the bench press and a red light. But that was a good lift for Liam. I said it in the squats. I'll say it again. As referees, I am myself a referee, a national referee. We love when lifters follow the rules. We hate giving red lights to people. It doesn't make us feel good. It does not make our day. We don't feel any kind of satisfaction catching someone doing something wrong. It's quite the opposite. We love giving white lights. We love when lifters know the rules and follow the rules and are lifting to the standard because it makes the sport more enjoyable. It makes it more fun for people. It makes it easier for people to understand. And the more red lights we have to give, the less fun it is for everybody involved. So we love to see how well these lifters are doing so far with following the rules that are outlined in the rulebook. Albie, 132.5 kilos, a little bit slower than his opener, obviously, but seemed to have locked it out pretty well. 3 white lights, it's a good lift for him. Andrew Marshall coming up next. let's see, he went 10 kilos up from his first attempt to 135 kilograms. Just under 300. This is as close as you can get to 300 without going over. The next attempt would be 137 and a half, and that's 303 pounds. So I expect this to move well as well. I'll say it. If Andrew has someone saying that he's not putting enough weight on the bar, it's me. If he has 15 people saying it, I'm one of them. If he's got one person saying it, I'm one of them. If he's got no one saying there's not enough weight on the bar, it's because I'm dead. He always makes his lifts look good. He always makes his lifts look easy. They're always the comp standard. I expect nothing but the best for this attempt. Yeah, see, he went up 22 pounds, and it still looked just as easy as his opener. He could go up easily another 15 pounds, 7.5 kilos, and still it would move well. So interested to see where he goes from here. Up next, friend of the Lift for Your Die crew, fellow Lift for Your Die lifter himself, Cam, coached by Eric Andrews, who's the head coach of High Tide Strength Club. Here he comes. If you're wondering if you can see like the top left-hand TV there that has like the white stuff on his chin, that's like bubbles because he takes so many bubble baths. You can't really see in the live stream there, but I'm filling in the blanks for you guys. Let's see how this moves. This will be really telling of where his top end is on the day. A little bit harder than the first, but I think he does have a little bit left in the tank. We'll see where he goes. 3 white lights for him there. 147.5 being loaded on the bar for Jake. Bars loaded for him here. Explaining to the center spotter there how he would like his handoff. Very important to explain exactly how you want it. From the time the referee calls bar is loaded to the time you get your start command, you have 60 seconds. So you have plenty of time to explain how you'd like that handoff. And it looks like he did a good job, Jake did, because that looked really good. Again, I think he's looking to break a New Hampshire state record for his division, so hopefully he's on the right path for that. Jordan, 155 kilos, 341 pounds for a junior lifter for bench press. Like, we're getting up there. We're getting up there already, and we're only on second attempts. This is pretty exciting, folks. Gets the start command. Good pause on the chest. A little stalls out halfway up, but is able to lock it out. 3 white lights for Jordan, but where does he go from here? He only took a 5 kilo jump from his opener, and the smallest attempt you can make, like the smallest jump you can make is 2.5 kilos. So like, does he go 2.5 kilos? We'll see. I'm conversing with you guys now. You know, I'll give you a lecture in Yaponomics for the rest of the day, but hopefully you guys can indulge with me in the attempt selection questions. It's fun. It's a little game. Oh, big sticking point for Amato there. Unfortunately, unable to overcome it, 160 kilos on the bar. But that was his second attempt. So because we all have 3 attempts, he is able to try to come back and take that. Maybe there was a technical setup issue where he wasn't set up just quite right. Maybe he rushed the descent a little bit. Who knows? So hopefully he's able to get that when he retakes it for his third. Back to the top of the lifting order for Flight A. We are already on to third attempt bench presses for Flight A for this second session of the 2025 USA Powerlifting Odyssey Barbell Summer Open. My name is Liz, and I'm really excited to run through these third attempt bench presses with you guys live, not in person, but virtually. Really excited to see where these lifters go. 105 kilograms on the bar for Alex. Let's go, Alex. Come on, press. Yes, come on. Can he get it? The crowd is cheering for him, and he gets it. We'll see what the refs say, and the refs say it's a good lift. 3 white lights, undeniably to the standard. Great lift for Alex, and he's very excited for that. Good for him. Good for him. So he'll take that 105 kilo bench press into his total for the day. Reminder, the total is your best squat on the day, your best bench on the day, your best deadlift on the day. You add those 3 up, and that's your total. Totals matter for things like, personal best, but also, qualifying for higher level meets. Here comes Kieran. Gets the start command. Oh, man, just the same sticking point as his second attempt. Unfortunately, just not there. And, hindsight's 2020. Maybe if he'd opened a little bit lighter, he could have saved some gas and still gotten 115 on his third. But hindsight's 2020, and I'm sure in his next meet, he'll blow that out of the water. Up next, Robert. Training at Odyssey Barbell Club. So this is home turf for him. Let's see what he can make of that home field advantage. 125 kilograms on the bar. 275. This is, if you're going to a commercial gym, this is 245s and a 25. So, a relatively important milestone on your way to 3 plates. Can he get it? Very delicate unrack there. Gets the start command. Oh, no. So, this is where we talked about earlier, the better you're able to make the bar motionless on your chest, the faster of a press command you'll get. He bounced a little bit on his chest, so he got a longer press command than somebody, if they, just really lightly touched, would have gotten. And unfortunately, just how fast he brought the bar down and how long the press command was, he was just unable to overcome that on the way back up. Wasn't quite able to use the momentum that maybe he's used to using in training. Michael, 132.5 kilograms on the bar, 5 kilo jump from his second. Just under 300 pounds. Getting ready, getting set. Lots of different strategies for bench pressing we've seen today, and we'll see even more as we continue on with the third attempts here. Very soft touch there for Michael. Oh, and off the chest a little bit too heavy. Unfortunately, not quite there on the day. But he'll take 127, which was his second attempt, towards his total. Bar stays at 132 for Liam. Coached by Alex Engelman. I hope you ladies and gentlemen are enjoying the bench press event portion of today's meet. If you're enjoying it, feel free to share the live stream link to social media platforms. Get more people listening and watching. Oh, that was a good lift for him. 132.5 kilograms is a good lift. I'm not sure how much more he would have had. Maybe if he'd gone a little bit more, he wouldn't have had it. So that was really good attempt selection by his coach there. Bar goes up to 137.5 kilos for Albie. The 21-year-old training out of Coliseum Barbell Club in Webster, Massachusetts. Explains how he would like his handoff, but he's looking for that 300-plus bench press here with 137.5 kilograms. For context, this is my best squat. And he's bench pressing it, so I'm impressed. Albie, go off. Go press. You can do it. Let's go, Albie. Everybody in the crowd cheering him on, saying, lightweight, you got it, let's go. And I agree with all of them. Let's go, Albie. You got it. See the press command. See, yeah. Oh, just push a little bit through the sticking point. Definitely some grit there, staying with it, but unfortunately not quite able to make it. But that's okay. He'll take his 132.5 kilo second attempt as his best bench for today. Up next, Andrew Marshall. Like I said, if anybody's commenting about the amount of weight that he has in the bar, it's me. It's me. He only went up 5 kilos, so this has to move well. His goal for the day must have been make everything look really good, and I think this will. Not to put that commentator's curse on him, but I have no doubt. Gets a start command. Yeah, see, listen, he needs to go out to the warm-up room, add another 7.5 kilos to the bar, and see where his top end's really at. Great job by Andrew there. Cam up next. We've got 314 loaded on the bar for Cam. I think the second attempt didn't move quite how he wanted it to, but I know based on training with him that he really wants this 315-ish bench press. That's kind of, the 3-plate milestone in the commercial gyms. And with technical bench pressers like Cam, you can't really see it from this angle, but Cam is a high arch bench presser, very soft touch when he brings the bar down to his chest. It's like just barely touching his chest. It's like floating there almost. With technical bench pressers like that, if anything is wrong in your setup, it can have big ramifications for your strength on the press. So maybe a second attempt was just a little bit of a technical thing, and I'd love to see a good press from him here. Come on, Cam! Oh, unfortunately, just a little bit too much. But that's okay. It was worth trying. You don't know until you try. He'll take his 135 kilo second attempt as his best bench for the day, and I'm sure next week he'll try again for that 315. I know it. Up next, we've got Jake. 341 pounds on the bar, 155 kilograms. I think this is more than I saw him pressing last week. Let's see if he's got it. Come on. Oh, not quite there. Just lost control off the chest there. But that's okay. 147.5 was his second attempt. And that's still a lot of weight. So hopefully he's happy with that second attempt, and 155 would have been nice, but he'll get it at his next meet for sure. Up next, Jordan. Second to last bench presser of Flight A, and then we'll move on to Flight B bench pressing. Penultimate Flight A lifter here. Jordan with 157.5. Come on. A little bit of that like sink and heave technique worked out well for him there. We'll see what the referees say, and they say it's good. So like I said, we've got different types of bench pressing just based on what are your strengths? How can you control tension? How can you control momentum? What's your mobility like? What kind of position can you get into to minimize the range of motion for the bar? Is that something you want to do, right? So lots of different types of bench pressers here. And that was a good example of somebody who, that's a challenging, for me, bench press position, and he made it look easy. 160 kilos on the bar for Amato. Can he push through? Oh, he's trying. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much. I think he made it a little bit further than he did on his second attempt, which he also failed. Unfortunately, won't take that 160, but he will take his opener. He did get an opener, so he's still in the meet, thankfully. On to Flight B. We have Rubens going for 107.5 kilograms for his opening attempt bench. Looking for an easy bench press to get him on the board so that he can start building and stacking kilograms to get to a bigger bench. Hopefully the biggest bench he can hit for the day. And you might be wondering, why am I saying, what do they have on the day? What does that mean? Strength training, while it seems pretty straightforward, it's just like any other sport where sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days, sometimes you have good weeks leading up into a meet, sometimes you have bad weeks leading up into a meet, and not every performance is going to be your best performance. Not every day are you going to be able to express your maximum potential. So some lifters, maybe they, they've hit these crazy PRs in training in the perfect environment, and then they come to the meet and it's just not there because the environment's different, or coming into the meet their mindset's different, or they didn't sleep well the night before, travel or whatever. So really it comes down to what can you put together on the platform on the day. Nicholas looking to solidify his place on the scoreboard with 115 kilo bench press. You'll see that was a little crooked. And you may be wondering, is that okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't care if your bench is crooked. We care if your elbows are locked out at the start and at the beginning. We care if your shoulders and your butt are on the bench at the start and at the end. And we care if your feet are flat on the ground at the start and at the finish. That's what we care, and that you press it, right? We don't care really what it looks like as long as it meets those standards that I just listed. Elbows locked out, shoulders and butt touching the bench, feet flat on the floor, hand gripping the bar. So, Yeah, you can lift however you need to in order to min-max your anatomy and your strength and your weakness and all that stuff. Nick going for 120. Definitely one of those slow and controlled benchers. Interested to see um, where he goes from there. Those lifters who are really slow and controlled, it's almost like you don't know where their top end is because everything moves kind of the same speed, which isn't fast. So intuitively, you're like, I don't know where their top end is unless you've been coaching or training with them for a long time. Julian, 17-year-old, 100-kilo teen lifter, looking to take 281 for his opening attempt, and remembering, you know what, maybe I do want a handoff, actually. Explaining to that handoff person how he's going to set up on the bench and how he should receive that handoff so that hopefully he, gets the best possible liftoff and doesn't have to deal with the variables of somebody not knowing what to do. Gets the start command. Really soft touch there. Gets a good press command. Very fast press. And 3 white lights for Julian. Up next, we have Dimitri. 15 years old. Benching 281 pounds. No worries. No worries. Just almost 300 pounds at 15 years old. If you're not impressed, you should be. Getting ready to get that start command. Making sure his grip's exactly where he needs it to be. Gets the start. Brings it down. A little bit of a sink. Gets the press. And rack. So sinking is allowed. You are allowed to pull the bar like into your chest. Sometimes people like to do that because it like builds up tension in your chest like a spring. So some people like to do that because it builds more tension for them, like elastic kind of springy tension. But when you get the press command, you're not allowed to pull the bar even more into your chest. So at that point, that's like the lowest point on your chest where the bar is allowed to go, and you're only allowed to press it from there. So that's the downside from that like sinking technique. Here comes Terrence, our M3 lifter of the day, with 130 kilos on the bar. Unfortunately, got the replace command there. So one of the rules that I didn't mention earlier, with the squat, you're allowed to hold the grip with like a false grip or a thumbless grip. Those words are interchangeable, where your thumbs are behind the bar. You're not allowed to do that on the bench press. Some people call that a suicide grip, and that's for a reason. When your thumb is not fully around the bar, it's easy for the bar to roll out of your hand. So, he fixed his grip. Unfortunately, he didn't wait for the rack command. So that was a no lift for him there. So you gotta wait for all 3 commands, and this is one of those, where we want to make sure that lifters are lifting to the standard that's in the rulebook, and we hate saying that a lift that they were clearly able to perform was no good, but if it's not per the rules, unfortunately, it is no good. It's a gym PR, but it won't be a platform PR until he gets those white lights. Here comes Elvin. 140 kilos on the bar, north of 300 pounds. Wow. All right, I'm Elvin's biggest fan today. That was amazing. That was amazing. It's just the explosive power on the squat and the bench press is so exciting to see. Biggest fan. Here comes Matthew, same weight as a junior lifter. Real sink bench there. And one of the downsides of that sink is if you can't control the bar on the way up, you stall just a little bit like Matthew just did. And you see he got a yellow card there from one of the referees. So I'm imagining like maybe because of that stall, he had to try a little bit harder. Maybe his butt came up a little bit. Maybe his foot moved a little bit because it was harder than he was expecting it to be. But I think that's probably was a technical issue. I think he's going to clean that up for his second attempt. So I expect that second attempt to look better than the first attempt, honestly. And here comes Wyatt. So he's one of our bench-only lifters for today. He's in the Teen 1, 14 to 15 division. Very narrow grip there with 142.5 kilos. So he's in the 14 to 15-year-old age group, and he just pressed 315 pounds for an opening attempt. If you couldn't tell, I am very impressed. I am shocked. Couldn't say speechless because clearly I have a lot of words to say about it, but that was very impressive. Up next, Albert Lee taking the same weight, 314 or 142.5 kilograms, explaining to that center spotter from Northeastern Powerlifting how he'd like that handoff. So you'll see all of the spotters and loaders we have on the platform today are from Northeastern Powerlifting. They are some of the fastest and best spotting and loading crews in New England. Dare I say in the country. They have a huge powerlifting team. Part of being on the powerlifting team, you're required to volunteer at these meets so that you get a better understanding of the community, you get a better understanding of the sport, and you're able to give back because these meets don't happen without spotters and loaders at all. We can have fewer referees, like there is a minimum number of referees, but we don't have to have so many referees. We do have to have spotters and loaders. So we really appreciate them coming and spending their time. Not only that, but making the meets run so smoothly. They always know what they're doing. They're always doing a good job. Appreciate Northeastern Powerlifting. Up next, we've got Dan with 147.5 kilos on the bar. He trains out of Odyssey Barbell Club. He's coached by Brendan Parr. Gets a start command. Oh. A little bit uneven lockout there. Definitely was more challenging than he wanted it to be. Yeah, and he got a yellow card from that left-hand referee, so I imagine his butt came up or something on that left side. Definitely a technical issue there. I don't think that he was expecting for that to be that hard on an opening attempt. I sure don't think he was anyway. But thank God he got it. Up next, we are back to the top of the lifting order for Flight B. Starting on second attempt bench presses, Rubens has elected to take 115 kilos for his second attempt, which is a 7.5 kilogram jump from his first to his second. So about 15-ish, heavy emphasis on the ish pounds. Maybe you should have opened with that. That moved really well. That moved really well. Great job, Rubens. That's all I can say. Great job. Up next, Nick. 120 kilos on the bar. Bars loaded for Nick. Came all the way up here from Top Strength in Rhode Island to compete on a Sunday in sunny Salem, New Hampshire. Here we go, Nick. Takes his time getting that hand off to make sure it's just exactly right, just exactly how he needs to receive the bar. Control down to the chest. Very soft touch. Gets the press command, rack. Let's see what the refs have to say. Yeah, so that center referee gave him a blue card, and the right-hand referee gave him a yellow card. So what I'm imagining is the combination of those two cards. You might have seen he bounced the bar on his chest a little bit. When I said very soft touch, I saw a little bit of that bouncing, and I'm imagining that those two cards are kind of like there's a middle ground between those two cards for that call. The blue being up and down motion, and the yellow being maybe a missed press command, or rushed press command. So let's see him clean that up on the next one for sure. Up next, we have Nick taking 125 kilograms for his second attempt bench. Wow, definitely sticking point in the middle there where you see his elbows kind of flare back towards us. A little uneven. You're allowed to press uneven. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit too much for Nick there. Hopefully he's able to get it on his second. He didn't spend too much energy trying to fight through that on the second attempt, so hopefully he gets it back, gets it on his third after a few minutes of resting. It is really hard once your elbows flare backwards like that to maintain the momentum of the bar and maintain control of the bar. Very difficult to do, so hopefully he's able to do that for his third attempt. Dimitri up next, 130 kilograms on the bar for Dimitri. One of our teen one lifters today. Sinks the bar pretty decently, launches it back up, gets the rack command, and 3 white lights from our referees. Good job by him. Up next, Julian, adding 5 kilos to the bar. 7.5 kilos up from his first attempt. Bars loaded for our 17-year-old teen 2 lifter. Right. Center spotter giving a handoff to Julian so that he can waste no energy on that liftoff. Gets a start command. Like a rocket ship to the top position. Gets the rack command. 1 red light from the side. I'm imagining that was for his elbows. It looked like one of his elbows maybe wasn't locked out from the start or the finish. So he'll want to clean that up. Bars loaded for Terrence. 135 kilograms for him for his second attempt bench press. He missed his first attempt. Went up 5 kilos. Bold strategy by Terrence here. We'll see if it pays off. And the strategy paid off for Terrence there. Good for him. 135 kilograms for his second attempt was a good lift. 147.5 is being loaded on the bar for Matthew here. All right, pretty narrow grip there for Matthew. Oh, sticky right there in the middle there. Unfortunately not able to overcome that sticking point. But we're only on second attempt benches, so he can give it another go for his third. Up next, we've got Dan. 330 pounds on the bar, 150 kilograms. In case you guys are wondering and you're not sure, the status of where the lifting is at, we're about halfway through. Second attempts for Flight B. We have a few lifters left that are going to take their second attempts, then we'll start on third attempts. After that, we will have a 10-minute break. Start command given for Dan there. Wow, very fast press command, uneven lockout, which is okay. Gets the rack command. We'll see what the refs say. Good lift. That was such a fast press command. So lucky. Good for him for controlling the bar so well down to his chest. That was a good lift for Dan there, 150. Same weight being loaded for Elvin. I've been impressed with Elvin's lifts all day today. Not that I'm some kind of expert or anything. It just, sometimes when a lift looks good, you got to appreciate it. So I'm interested to see how this goes for Elvin. I'm sure it will move easily. I'm sure it will move easily. Experienced lifters know how to make their lifts look good. They know when to grind, and they know when to take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. And this second attempt should be setting him up for something that will look hard on the third. Wow. Easy, breezy. Not cover girl, but Elvin. Great job by Elvin. Albert getting 150, which is the same weight as the previous lifter on the bar. 330 pounds. let's have him take it for a spin, see how it goes. All right. Handoff has been given, as has the start command. Gets the press, and an easy press for him. Clean rack. Good job, Albert. That's what we want to see. Up next, we've got our bench-only lifter, Wyatt. Our Teen 1 lifter pressing 152 kilograms, 336 pounds for his second attempt bench press. Up 10 kilos from his first attempt, which is about 22 pounds. If I'm doing a bench-only meet, I'm going all out. I'm doing what Wyatt's doing here. I'm making big jumps. I'm making moves. I'm pushing myself as hard as I can go. Let's go, Wyatt. Come on, Wyatt. Oh, unfortunately not quite there, but that's okay, because he has another attempt. He can try taking it again. I have all the faith in the world he'll be able to, after a little break, he'll be able to come back and he'll be able to clean that up. Back to the top of the order. We've got Nicholas with 120, retaking 120 that he missed on his second attempt. It seemed to, I think I remember this seemed to be some sort of like technical issue that just led to him not being able to finish the lift. So, hopefully he was able to kind of look, reflect on that and clean that up mentally, figure out what he needs to fix with his setup physically, and hopefully he's able to get this 120, 264 and change pounds. Let's go, Nicholas. Gets the start command. Really good control down to the chest. Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I'm not some kind of professional, but it definitely was some kind of technical issue that led to that miss on the 120, that freak kind of miss. But cleaned it up, got it on his third. No harm, no foul there. Up next, Rubens taking 125 kilos for his third attempt bench press, 275 pounds. If you train at a commercial gym, this is 2 plates and a quarter, 2 plates and a 25. Which is, one of those milestones on the way to 315, which is 3 plates. Let's see Rubens knock it out of the park here. 10-kilo jump from his second to his third, so he's feeling very confident in this. Or it's a YOLO bench. Either way, I support it. Let's go. Come on. Great job by Rubens. Excellent attempt selection. 275 pounds is good for him there. Great job by Rubens. Up next, we have Dimitri looking to break that 300-pound barrier with 137.5 kilogram bench press as a Teen 1 division lifter. 15 years old, benching over 300 pounds. You don't have to flex on us like this, Dimitri. You don't have to flex on us like this. But you do have to finish this bench press. We're waiting for you. Let's go. Gets a start command. A bit of a sink. Nice. Easy press by Dimitri. Go out back and load 315. Go out back and load 315. Excellent press by Dimitri. Up next, we've got Julian looking for 140 kilograms for his third attempt bench press. I don't know what they're putting in the milk these days, folks, but whatever it is, it makes these teenagers really good at bench pressing, and I'm really jealous. Julian, 140 kilograms in the bar. Got a call from a blue card from the right-hand referee for his elbow not being locked out. Let's see if he cleans it up here. I think it looks better, and the refs agree. Good lift for him, 140 kilos. Terrence up next. Missed 147.5 for his second attempt. Kind of hard to tell if it was a technical issue or a strength issue. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I was talking about Matthew. Terrence went up from 135. He missed his first attempt. Technical issue. 135 was good. Went up another 5 kilos to what we've got on the bar now, 140. Let's see what he makes of it. The crowd goes silent, waiting for that press command. Gets the press command. The crowd's cheering for him. A little bit of an uneven lockout, but we're okay with that. No harm, no foul. 3 white lights. It's a good lift by Terrence. Great job. Little bit of a bumpy start there on bench, but he was able to clean it up just fine. Now we have Matthew, who, as I was saying, couldn't tell if it was a technical issue or a strength issue on his second attempt, missing 147.5, but he's elected to retake 147.5. 325 pounds on the bar. Color me impressed. Let's see how he does with the press. Oh, similar sticking point. Is he able to get through it this time? Oh, no, just a little bit too much there. But it was a good effort nonetheless by Matthew there with 147. He did get his opener of 140 kilos. So he'll that 140 kilos will be what's added to his total. And maybe if I could get rid of the mush mouth I have right now, I can enunciate my words for you guys and you can understand what I'm saying. Dan, 152.5 kilos on the bar, 336 pounds. This is his home turf. The crowd's cheering for him. They're getting him hyped up. They're saying, come on, Dan, you got this. Okay, so they're saying more interesting things than that, but we're here to see how he lifts. Oh, unfortunately, just a little bit too much on the day. I do, a 150 was a lot for him, so we weren't really sure where he was going to go. And, it was just 2.5 kilos is the smallest attempt you can make, so he had to load it. But good try by him anyway. I'm sure he's happy with the 150 that he got for his second attempt. Wyatt, reattempting to take 152.5, was what he took on his second. He's got that sink technique that gives you a lot of power off the chest, but if you don't control it, you get to a sticking point. Can he push through? Not quite, unfortunately. So he will have his opener, 142.5 kilos, which is still like a lot of weight for a teenager to be pressing. So I hope he's still happy with what he put up, and if he's not the happiest, you can always go out back and try again. You can always try next week when you're a little bit more recovered and you're in an environment that's comfortable. Just see what you got. It's always worth a shot. Albert, 155 kilos on the bar. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm a proponent of maxing out your bench the week after a meet. Because bench press is fun, and it's fun to see how strong you are and to see how much you can push. I don't get enough of it at the meet, apparently. 155 kilos? Can Albert press it? We'll find out here. Come on, Albert. Very smooth. Very smooth. No stoppages. Looked good. Great attempt selection. It's a good lift for Albert. Up next, Elvin made a clean 10-kilo jump from first to second and from second to third. I'm imagining this is going to look very nice, just like all of the rest of his lifts have today. 350 pounds on the bar. Elects to get the lift off to save some energy for a press, for impending press. Gets a little stuck there in the midway point. Unfortunately, not able to overcome that. Had he overcome it, it probably still would have been overruled as a no lift because there was some downward motion there in the scrap. But it was a good try nonetheless. Up next, we have Robert. Oh, that Robert is listed here for deadlifts. So we actually have no more benches for today. Those just flew by. We'll be rejoined in 10 minutes by our lifter here, Robert, to kick off the deadlift session. So in 10 minutes, deadlifts will be starting. Go ahead, get yourself We are going to get back into the action here in just a few seconds. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties with the live stream, but it looks like we're trying to get it back online. The first deadlifter that we're going to have in this afternoon deadlifting session rather, is Robert. He's going to be deadlifting 165 kilograms, 363 pounds for his opening attempt deadlift. For those of you guys who are coming back after being here loyally through the squad and loyally through the bench, I first want to say thank you so much. I also want to say share this live stream link with your friends and family, anybody who wants to watch. We're happy to have more people excited and viewing the powerlifting scene here at Odyssey. Looks like that was a good lift for Robert. Unfortunately, you guys weren't able to see it, but we're working on getting that resolved for you. Alex is attempting 180 kilos for his first attempt deadlift. £396 on the bar for Alex for his opening attempt. Remember, this is something we should be taking for, an opener that we could do for 2 or 3 reps if we had to. Looks good for me and looks good for the referees. Unlike the squat and unlike the bench, the deadlift is the fastest event, and it also has the fewest commands. Because there's just not very much going on. You would think bench would be the one with less going on, but in fact it is deadlift, where we're literally just picking the bar up whenever we're ready to pick it up, and then as soon as we've locked it out at the top, we get the down command. Amato looking for 190 for his first. Unfortunately, just a little bit of a technical issue there with his grip. Hands not feeling like they're gripping the way they should. Tries to grip it, unfortunately. Maybe already torn a callus. Not successful there for that attempt, but hopefully he's able to, get like a band-aid or something on his hand, or some like liquid bandage rather, and hopefully he's able to come back and take that for his second attempt. Kieran, same weight on the bar, 190 kilos for Kieran. Not too bad. Doesn't look too hard. Looks like there's room for him to go up, for him to stack the chips, as they say, to get to the best deadlift he can get on the day. Up next, Michael Lee. 192.5 kilograms on the bar for Michael. So like I said, the deadlift, right? We've got one command, and it's the down command. So whenever you're ready to grip it and rip it, that's what you do. Regardless of if you pull sumo, like Michael does here, or if you pull conventional, like the previous lifter Kieran does. Either way, you do whatever it is that you need to do to get into a place where you can pull the bar. Then you deadlift. Once you're at the top and you're fully locked out, your knees are straight, your shoulders are back, and you're standing erect, you'll get the down command. Reasons for infractions for the deadlift, pretty straightforward. If you're not fully locked out, if your knees aren't locked, your shoulders aren't back, if you're not standing erect, you will get a red light with a red card. If, when you're trying to pull the deadlift, if you've got downward motion on the way up, that would be a reason that you would get a blue card. Same with like hitching and ramping and supporting would get you a blue card. And we may not even see any of that today, so I don't really want to go into the details of how that looks. Great attempt by Andrew there. Again, all of his attempts are going to look really easy today. I don't think he's going to fail anything. I'm not jinxing him. I'm just telling you guys how it is. He's going to have a really good performance today. And he's probably going to PR everything too. Jake going for 210 kilograms for his first attempt deadlift. One of our Lift for Your Die lifters here. Lift for Your Die Barbell Club in Dover, New Hampshire, that is. As you can see, we're moving really quick through first attempts. We're almost done with first attempt deadlifts already. It's because you just have fewer commands, and it's just so exciting. And it's like everybody loves the deadlift. It's action packed, and it's the most simple lift. You just walk up to the bar, you grip it, and you rip it. Obviously, there's technical skills that are involved with deadlifting, but the base of the lift is very simple. You just pick up the bar. Here comes Cam to just pick up the bar, just pick up 215 kilograms or 474 pounds. Making sure the bar is straight first so they can get his setup correct. Deadlift sounds simple, but when you're pulling sumo deadlift like Cam is here, it's really important to make sure that your setup is right because there's a lot of room for technical error. Not for Cam, though. No room for technical error for Cam. That was an excellent first attempt deadlift. Very snappy. I trained with Cam, and looking at how that moved, plenty of room for him to go up there. Great job by Cam there. But yeah, the sumo deadlift can be a little tricky. Your legs are further apart, so your hips have a lot more involvement, and depending on how rotated your hips are or aren't, it can change just the geometry of the lift. It can change the way the forces are moving through, and that can make a big difference of like how technical you need to be and how easy it is or not easy it is to maintain that form. Jordan, 227.5 kilograms, moving relatively well for his first attempt. Good lift for him. Up next, we've got Liam. What are some of the other infractions for the deadlift? Let's see. If you stand up at the top of the lift, you're super excited, and you drop the bar from the top, that would be a reason for failing the lift, and that's just a safety precaution, right? We don't want to drop the bar and then maybe the bar bounce and like fall on somebody's foot, like your own foot. So we don't let people drop the weight from the top. They must control the bar all the way down to the floor. We also don't allow the lifters to forcefully push the bar down or spiking a football. We don't let people do that with the bar either for the same reason. It can also damage the platform as well, which can be a disadvantage to other lifters. Not in a good way, right? Not in a sportsman-like way of disadvantage. But that was a good lift for Liam. Here comes Albie to take 250 kilos, 550 pounds. 550 pounds for an opening attempt. Okay, we're there already. First attempt deadlift of flight A for Albie. Dare I say he's a deadlifter. Looking at his lift so far, best squat was 205, best bench was 132. Opening deadlift, almost double what his best bench was. So yeah, he's a deadlifter. And that'll look pretty easy for him as well. Great work by Albie. Let's see what the refs say. They agree. It's a good lift. Back to the top of the deadlifting order now. We're back with Robert. 180 kilos on the bar. Or Robertson, rather. Almost 400 pounds. Bars loaded for him. He trains at Odyssey Barbell Club. Made a 15 kilo jump, which is a sizable jump. It's a little over 30 pounds from first attempt to second attempt. And this puts him in a really good position to put something heavy on the bar for his third attempt. So excited what he loads for his third attempt there. Bar goes up to 190 for Amato. He missed his opener. It seemed like there was something going on with his grip, so hopefully he's got that figured out so that he can make it a successful deadlift. He does need to make this. Okay, cool. So whatever he was going on with his grip, he's figured it out. He's safe. His squats and his benches that he's done so far today are safe. What I mean by that is, for those of you guys who weren't listening earlier, you weren't on the stream, we, as powerlifters, have to make at least one successful squat, at least one successful bench, and at least one successful deadlift to prevent us from being disqualified from the meet. We can still lift if we miss one of those, if we don't do a successful squat or we don't do a successful bench, if we don't do a successful deadlift, but if we don't post at least one successful lift in each discipline, then our lifts don't count as official meet lifts. They, count as like meet PR, like gym PRs, so to say, but they don't count as official lifts for things like qualifying for higher level meets and so on. But that was a good lift by Alex. He's doing very well today. Kieran going up to 200 kilos for his second attempt deadlift. And this is where we see lifters not only bridging some gaps, definitely grinding. Kieran had a little bit of a rocky bench press event, so I'm wondering if he's trying to use the deadlift to gain some ground that he lost in deadlift. You'll see he got one red light there. That was from that right-hand side referee. He actually did call him for supporting on the thighs. That's when you use your thighs for like an unfair advantage to help the bar get up your legs. So we don't allow that. It's hard to see from the front, very hard to describe. But really when you're like resting the bar on your legs to kind of get an advantage, that's what we don't want to see, and that's what happened there. But only one person called it, so it was still a good lift, so good for him. Michael, 210 kilos on the bar for Michael. Not terrible, pretty good actually. Let's see what the refs have to say. That was a good lift for Michael. Gives him some room to go up, but it wasn't so easy that he doesn't know where his top end is. Up next, Andrew, back at it again, 212.5 kilograms on the bar. This is going to move really well, I suspect. But he's got nothing to lose if he sends it for the third. I'm just saying. If any of you guys in the chat want to send it vibes his way, now's the time, because that moved really well. There's a good lift for him. Up next, the bar goes to 227.5 for Jake. One of our junior lifters from Lift for Your Die Barbell Club in Dover, New Hampshire. 500 pounds on the bar. Big milestone here. Pretty smooth there as well. Same comment that I made for one of our previous lifters there. Not so easy that you don't know where your top end is, but not so hard that you got no gas left in the tank. So I think that was good attempt selection there. Up next, we've got Cam, 230 kilograms on the bar. This is a moment where we see how much is left in the tank. How well did the 5 bubble baths work? How well did they set us up for a big deadlift here? He lost a little bit of ground on his third attempt bench. Can he gain it back on the deadlift? Wow. So you'll see sumo can sometimes be a little bit slow off the floor and snappy at lockout. I think that was a really well selected second attempt. And I think he does have some room to go up. Even though it looked a little slow off the floor, sumo can just be slow off the floor. We expect it to look like that. A well-executed sumo should look like that. There is still room in the tank for him. 235 kilos for Jordan. Shaky on the way up, but strength doesn't seem to be an issue. And the refs say it's good across the board. So that's awesome for Jordan. 252 kilos loaded on the bar for Liam. We are flying. We have 2 more second attempts, and then we go back to the top of the flight for third attempt deadlifts, where the lifters bet it all. It's the last lift of the day. It's, what can you do but send it on the last lift of the day, really? What can you do? But before we get there, Liam's got to make this second attempt. He's got to make something convincing for the third attempt pull. Nice. That was strong. 2 white lights, 1 yellow light from the side referee. I didn't see what that was, so I'm not going to speculate on what that is. But like I said earlier, the referees have the best viewing angle. We have 3 referees on the platform, 1 on the left-hand side of the platform, 1 in the center you can see just to the left of the live stream camera, and 1 on the right-hand side you can see. These folks are positioned strategically so they can view the lift from all angles to be able to adjudicate from many points of view, whether or not the lift was good or bad. And we have 3 so that we can make sure we get that holistic picture. So oftentimes you will see those 2-to-1 calls, 2 whites to 1 red, and that's because different viewing angles offer different perspectives. Albee, 262.5 on the bar. Nice work by him. I think 600 might be in the cards for him today. I might be too excited. I might be too excited for these lifters here today, but I think 600 might be in the cards for Albee today. Back to the top of the flight, though, not to be outdone. Robertson, going for 200 kilos. This is a big number. This is like a milestone number in kilograms. Nice round figure. That's 441-ish pounds. This is a junior lifter. He lost a little ground on his 3rd attempt bench. He didn't make it. Is he looking to make up ground? He took a bigger jump from 2nd to 3rd than he did from 1st to 2nd. So he's feeling confident and maybe is trying to make up those 10 kilos lost on the bench press to maintain the total that he was looking to get for the day. Whoa! Okay, so now I understand the 20-kilo jump. And maybe it should have been a 25-kilo jump. But sometimes you don't know until you know. You know, great opportunity for him to maybe go to his home gym and pull something super silly next week just to see really where his top end is. You know, get a night's sleep and then just send it. I am a bad influence, but I think it would be fun. Amato up next. 205 kilos on the bar for Amato. Technical difficulty on his 1st attempt didn't seem to stop him from getting the bar off the ground on the 3rd, but we'll see what the refs say about the quality. And they think it's good. 2-to-1, good lift. The right-hand referee said that he wasn't locked out quite right. So lockout is your knees are locked, your shoulders are back, and you're standing erect. It has nothing to do with whether or not your hips are through the bar, although hips are part of being erect. It does not say that your hips need to be through. And he was really focused on the hips through, but less focused on the shoulders back and the knees locked. Kieran, unfortunately, just a little bit too much on the bar for him there. 205 kilos, just a little too heavy. But he gave it a go. That's what deadlift's about. It's about testing your limits, seeing what you can do on the day, and getting every last kilo you can on the platform. And sometimes it's just a little too much on the day. But that's okay. Up next, 210 kilos on the bar for Alex. He is getting hyped up. This must be some kind of PR for him, or close to a PR, because he is locked in. Let's go, Alex. Conventional puller gets harder from here, but can he grind it out? He's trying. The crowd is begging for him to, but unfortunately it's a little bit too much for him there. Ah, what a shame. Hopefully his next meet he'll be able to get revenge on that 210, but he'll take 195, which is his 2nd attempt deadlift, to his total. His total for the day, 475 kilos. Up next, we've got Andrew Marshall. I don't think I have to say it. He only went up 7.5 kilos. And his 2nd attempt looked pretty freaking easy. If 9 for 9's his goal, I'm sure he'll get this. And he won't be disappointed. Yeah, very good work by Andrew there. He clearly knows the rules of the standards, and he also clearly knows how to make every single lift look way too easy. But great job by Andrew there. Up next, we've got Michael. 225 kilos on the bar for Michael. Just shy of 500 pounds. This is the highest number you can get that's not over 500 pounds. So the closest you can get to 500 without going over in kilograms for Michael here. Taking his time with his setups. Like I said, sumo is especially important. It can be very technical. One little mistake and you're... Oh, can he get it? Oh, fortunately not quite there. Lost position a little bit once he got just over the knees there. Tricky situation, but he gave it his best shot. He's happy with his effort anyways. And he'll take his 210 kilo 2nd attempt as his highest deadlift for the day. Up next, we got Jake. Added 7.5 kilos to the bar from his second to his third attempt. We've got 235 kilograms on the bar now. 518 pounds. Come on, Jake. Excellent. Excellent work by Jake. 8 for 9 day. Not too bad, all things considered. And I think he probably took home some records with him as well, based on how his training's been going. Not to be outdone. Bars loaded for Cam. 240 kilos. 10 kilos up from his second attempt, which flew. Oh, he's getting a little emotional, guys. He's getting a little emotional in the chat. That's okay. Sometimes you need that to lock in. What does this mean to you, Cam? Show us now on the platform. Come on, buddy. Come on! Come on! Oh, just not quite there on the day. That's okay. He's a good sport about it, and he's going to thank his referees. We couldn't do this without them, and he showing his appreciation. What a good sport. He'll take 230 as his best deadlift on the day, going to his total 7 for 9 on the day with a 590 total. Not too shabby, all things considered. Great job by Cam there. Up next, we've got Jordan. Same weight on the bar for Jordan. Conventional gets harder above the knee, but doesn't seem to be too hard for Jordan. Great work by him, and it's a good lift by the referees' standards. Up next, we have Liam, the last deadlifter of flight, second to last, penultimate deadlifter of Flight A. After Flight A, we'll move right on to Flight B. But first, 267.5 kilos in the bar. About 10 pounds shy of 600. You're out with your friends. They're saying, how much do you deadlift? You can confidently say, after making this attempt, almost 600. Let's go. He's getting hyped. I can hear him going up to the platform. He's getting hyped. He's getting ready. Let's go. Come on, Liam. Let's go, Liam. Let's make this. Come on. Oh, just a little bit too heavy on the day, unfortunately. 252.5 was his best attempt, his second attempt. And we'll move on to I'll be the last deadlifter for Flight A. This is 25 kilos above what his opening attempt was. We'll let that sink in. That's 55 pounds. 606 pounds on the bar. 90 kilo junior. Come on, buddy. Got the strong mixed grip puller there. Grip won't be the issue. Oh, can he lock it out? He can. Gets the down command. 2 to 1. Good lift. That's all you need for a good lift, folks. Great job by Albie. In case you're watching at home and are curious what that yellow light was for, pretty sure that was for, he was a little excited when he put the bar down. A little bit of potentially spiking the bar down there. So if you're wondering at home, that was why. But still 2 to 1. Still a good lift. So good job for Albie there. Up next, we have Terrence kicking off Flight B deadlifts. Only about 20 minutes until we're done with lifting today. Based on the pace that we've been going so far for deadlifts. Very exciting meet. Deadlifts always go fast, and they're the most fun. Most exciting, easiest to get hyped about. Come on, Terrence. Let's see what you got. Yeah, lightweight. 182.5 moving easy. 400 pounds for Terrence. Great work there. Up next, we have Rubens looking to take 192.5 for a spin for his opening attempt. Remember, we want these openers to look easy. We want to make sure we stay in the meet. We get a good deadlift on the board, and we can slowly stack chips or add kilos slowly to our second and our third until we get our limit for the day. 192.5. Moving very easy. He doesn't even need baby powder. It's so easy. Great work by Rubens there. Up next, we get 200 kilos loaded on the bar for Nicholas. He's taking his time, making sure he gets hinged in and wedged just right. The deadlift can be especially challenging because unlike the squat and the bench, the squat and the bench, they both have the eccentric portion of the lift where the bar is coming down, where you're able to load your joints and load your muscles, and then you can spring back up. Where the deadlift, the bar is starting from the floor, and there's not really a good way to load that tension into your body with the bar, because the bar is only moving in one direction, that's up. So it's how do you build the most amount of tension in your body possible under your own strength before you hold onto the bar and then start pulling the bar and building more tension there. So definitely you'll see some lifters spend a little bit of extra time making sure they get their setup correct so that they can load that tension from a basically dead stop position. Dimitri, 210, good lift by him. Up next we have Nick from White Wolf Fitness. 217.5 kilograms on the bar for Nick. £479. Let's go, Nick. We're about halfway through our Flight B deadlifts here for first attempts anyway. Come on, Nick. Looks pretty good for me. And the refs agree. It's a good lift. Up next, we've got Dan. Remember, he's on home turf here. He missed his third squat, missed his third bench. Can he break the curse and get his third deadlift and recoup some of the lost kilos that he wasn't able to get on his total from those misses on squat and bench? We shall see. But right now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still need to get an opener. 235 kilograms, 518 pounds in the bar for Dan. The home team crowd cheering him on. Very smooth, very snappy. Love to see when sumo moves like that. Great job by Dan there on that one. Up next, we've got Elvin. Bars loaded for him, 235 kilograms. Same weight as Dan. Although I imagine they'll both land in a different place. Nice, very smooth pull by Elvin there. Albert Lee coming up to take 245 for his opening attempt deadlift. 540 pounds. Bars loaded for him. Let's see how this opener moves. We expect it to move easy, but just how easy will determine how much Albert has on the day for today. How well his taper went, how well his peak went. We'll start to see some of that based on how this opener moves. Very easy. Nice work by Albert. Plenty of runway to ramp up the weight. Let's see how it goes. Up next, Julian. Bars being loaded to 250 for Julian as a teenager. He's deadlifting 551 pounds. He's in high school, ladies and gentlemen. Were you deadlifting 551 pounds in high school? If you were, good for you. He's still impressive. But let's not steal the thunder from Julian, who's had an excellent day so far. So far, 6 for 6, not to put any jinxing on him. I imagine this is going to move really well. Whoa! Blink and you miss it, folks. That was excellently executed by Julian there. Excited to see where he goes from there because he's plenty of room to go up. One red light from the side just because he let go of the bar a little bit before it touched the floor. And we want to make sure our lifters keep control of the bar all the way down to the floor. Matthew, 584 pounds loaded from Matthew, 265 kilograms. Damn near 600 pounds for an opener. Sorry for the kids listening. I'll bleep that one out next time, but dang, that was good. 2-1, that's all you need. Up next, Terrence. Taking the first second attempt squat. Say that 6 times fast. Excuse me, second attempt deadlift of Flight B. So we're back to the top of the flight order for Flight B deadlifts. 192.5 kilos, 10 kilos above what he just pulled. So add 20 pounds and do it again, Terrence said. Let's do it. Let's see it. 61 years old in the Masters 3A division. It says Master, Raw Master 40 plus here, but we have at least four, I think it's 4 Masters divisions. Nice work by Terrence. Didn't look like too much of a challenge at all. After Terrence, we have Rubens with 210 kilos being loaded on the bar. Pretty freaking big jump from first attempt to second attempt. I'm an engineer, but sometimes math's hard. So he took a 17.5 kilo jump from his first to his second. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. Almost 45 pounds, like 40-ish pounds, something like that. Something crazy like that. Whoa. Clearly a good choice by his coach. Great work. Can make another big jump to his next one, honestly, because that moved really well. Nicholas up next. 468 pounds, or 212.5 kilograms on the bar for Nicholas. Alright, definitely challenging, but we did see from Nicholas during the squat and the bench that he is a pretty technical lifter, and that can, that technical, aptitude of, making sure you're perfectly set up before you start your lift can really impact the success or the failure of the lift. So I wouldn't be surprised if he went up more than you'd think for the next attempt and locked in a little harder and got, tightened up his form a little bit and made it move well for that third attempt. So we'll see where he goes with that. Meanwhile, Dimitri, 220 kilograms for his second attempt. Makes light work of that. Down with a weight and 3 white lights for Dimitri. It's a good lift there. Up next, we've got Nick with 232.5 kilos, the 15-pound jump from his first attempt. Another relatively large jump. It's over 30 pounds. But when the weight starts to get this heavy, we're talking proportions. We're talking percentages. And the the jumps inherently do get bigger because you're making percent jumps. And you're not making, just only making 10-pound jumps when you're at 500 pounds, right? We're making percentages for jumps here. And you don't want to waste a ton of energy by pulling a really heavy first attempt, a really heavy second attempt, and making small jumps in between those when you could make bigger jumps and save the energy for the one that matters, right? The third one. And we're only on seconds. So let's see how this moves. Ooh. Definitely hard. Definitely slower. But it's a good lift. And again, you never know. Sometimes the second doesn't move as well as the third. Sometimes there's some technical errors that get cleaned up between second and third, and the third moves better. You're able to load more than you thought. So excited to see how the third looks for Nick there. Meanwhile, we've got Elvin, 250 kilos on the bar, another 15-pound jump. 551, 250 kilos. How will this look? Pretty solid, honestly. Pretty solid. Not easy, but some room. Dan coming up next. 252 and a half, 556 pounds. Only a few more second attempts before we move on to the thirds. And while we're on these second attempts, I just want to take a moment, before the excitement really ramps up, I just want to take a moment to thank you guys for watching this stream. You know, if it wasn't for you guys here watching the stream and sharing it with your friends and family, there would be fewer people who know about powerlifting and how awesome powerlifting is. So I want to thank you guys. Great job by Dan, 252 kilos, moving really well. Sets him up well for a good jump on the third. I want to thank you guys for sticking along, listening to my Yaponomics lecture about powerlifting, about attempt selection, about bubble baths and everything in between. Thank you guys. Really appreciate you being here. There would be no sport. I mean, there would be a sport if there were no fans, but there certainly would be less volunteers if we had no fans. And the volunteers are what make the world go round. And the fans are what, you know, help keep us going when the going gets tough, or the training gets boring, or the training gets hard. So we appreciate you. We also appreciate the hosts of the meet here, Odyssey Barbell Club owner Eric Lapointe. I almost said his old Instagram handle, Pizza Bloat. If you know, you know. And his wife, Amanda. They've been instrumental in making sure these meets happen. We want to thank them for that. Albert, 260 kilograms on the bar. Pretty easy for Albert. Another sizable jump in his future from second to third for sure. We want to take some time to thank our volunteers. You guys may not be able to see who they are on the live stream because they may not be in frame, but the volunteers are what make the sport happen. The volunteers don't get paid very much. They are here purely for the love of the game. They care so much about the sport. They care so much about making sure we have a safe place, a drug-free place to compete. And without them, the meets won't happen. Here's Julian trying to get the crowd hyped up. He made a 25-kilo jump. He's trying to pace with Matthew still, so he had to make a big jump from first to second. Whoa! Okay, what next? I don't know. I see. This is where powerlifting's so exciting, right? We've got these big jumps, these big swings. We've got these head-to-head competitions, right? Where is it gonna go from here? Where? And how exciting is it going to get for these third attempts? We're on the last second attempt of Flight B deadlifts. Let's go, Matthew. 280 kilos, 617 pounds. He's a junior. Can he get it? He needs this lift to stay paced with Julian. What are the refs going to say about that lift? We'll see. Unfortunately, 3 red lights. The lift is no good. The left-hand referee gave a red and a blue. The red's for lockout. All 3 referees gave a blue card. The blue card in this case was for supporting on the thighs and hitching. So when you saw the bar kind of like bounce a little bit off the legs and you saw it really resting on the legs there and pausing while he got a better kind of like leverage on it while it was resting on the legs. That's a classic example of supporting or ramping, and that is not allowed, unfortunately, in USA powerlifting. Here comes Terrence, kicking off the third attempt deadlifts with a bang. 207.5 kilograms on the bar for the Masters 3 lifter. Let's see it, Terrence. Come on! Yeah! Locks it out. We'll see what the refs think. The refs think it's good. 3 white lights. There's no denying it. Great work by Terrence to come around for the end of the day. Nicholas up next. 220 kilograms for his third attempt deadlift. Let's make it happen. Second attempt was, I think, a lot harder than he wanted it to be, but like we talked about, setup is everything, and if he can clean up his setup and he can be as efficient as possible, maybe he's got a little bit more gas in the tank for this 220-pound deadlift, but it's worth sending it. Last lift of the day. Let's go. Come on, Nicholas. Unfortunately, not enough gas left in that tank, but he gave it a go. It was worth a shot. It was worth a shot, and there's, we've got no more lifts after this, so you gotta send it. Rubens up next. 230 kilos on the bar for Rubens. Just over 500 pounds for Rubens here. No baby powder. Doesn't need it. That helps make the bar move up, but he doesn't need it. There's no friction there for him. 3 white lights, that's all you need. Great job by Rubens. Excellent finish for the day. With a 570 kilo total. 9 for 9 day. That's got to feel good. No misses. Good for Rubens. Up next, Dimitri. 230 kilograms loaded on the bar. Same weight as the last 2 competitors. 15 years old. 500 pounds. Let that sink in, ladies and germs. You don't see this every day. Getting set. Building the tension. Can he finish it? This is the hardest part of conventional deadlifts. Can he finish it? He finishes it. We'll see what the refs say. 3 white lights. It's a good lift for Dimitri. Brings his total to 595 kilos for a 15-year-old lifter. Congratulations, Dimitri. That's awesome. Up next, we have Nick. 237.5 kilograms on the bar for Nick. Can he make this? It's only 5 kilos up from his second attempt, which was a little challenging, but I think this is within reach. The cinematic platform in the background. There's no way he misses this. He can't miss. He must make this. Come on, Nick. Let's go! Come on! Unfortunately, just a little bit too heavy for him on the day. Good work, though, by Nicholas, regardless. 560 kilo total is what he'll finish with today. On to Dan. Home field advantage. Can he take advantage? Can he use these 7.5 kilos to make up some of the ground that he lost on squat and on bench? Asking the crowd to help him. Come on! Sticky here at lockout. This is really hard to recover from, and unfortunately he wasn't able to make it there. That's the hardest part of grinding out a sumo deadlift, is right there where he lost it. But it was a valiant effort nonetheless. He'll finish the day with a 622.5 kilo total. Up next we have Elvin. 260 kilos on the bar. 573 pounds. Come on, Elvin. Make this move as well as your previous. Unfortunately, just a little bit too heavy on the day. 637.5 kilos was Elvin's best total today. Not too shabby. Albert Lee. 272.5. This is that 600 pound, sweet, sweet 600 pounds. Can this Crunch Fitness lifter pull 272.5 kilograms today at the Odyssey Barbell Summer Open? Can he do it? It starts here. Come on, Albert. Let's finish it. Yes! Let's see what the refs have to say. It's a good lift. Great work, Albert. Big milestone. The 662 kilo total to top it off as well. Great work by him. Up next we have Matthew trying to retake 280 kilos that he missed on his second attempt. Unsure if it was a strength issue or a technique issue, but we think he's going to try it again, and hopefully he gets it. 617 pounds, though. That's heavy. Does he have enough gas left to grind it out again? Oh, unfortunately not. So fast off the floor, and just the brakes come on right above the knee. Unfortunately not there for him on the day. His total at the end of the day, 667.5 kilos. Unfortunately, that's the price you pay sometimes with those really big jumps. You're saving energy to make the thirds, but if the jump is just a little bit too big, then you've lost a lot of ground with the miss. 15 kilo jump for third attempt for Julian. 640 pounds. First and second moved like nothing was even on the bar. How will this move? Come on. Oh, locks out the knees early, almost loses it, but's able to lock it out for 3 white lights. That's a good lift. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 2025 USA Powerlifting Odyssey Barbell Summer Open. My name's Liz. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you for the last few hours. And if you haven't watched the morning sessions live stream, go forth and watch. It's on the Odyssey Barbell Club's YouTube page. Love to see the support for the lighter weight men as well as all the women who lifted earlier today. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.